Welcome everybody to this edition of Strong Perspective Podcast. Just want to let everybody know that this is the last show of 2023, and we're gonna treat it as such. We basically in Strong Perspective, I think we've been doing this a little under 2 years, but we enjoy milestones. You know why?
Yeah,
Because go ahead, Jaquan.
no, I'm finna say I get the feeling you kind of shortchanged us with the 2 year mark, man.
I don't think so, though. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go check and confirm for everybody. But you may be right, Jaquan, but I'm not sure. But really and truly, um, we're gonna treat this episode as a year in review. You know, if you guys are checking in on us and want to comment on what you saw in 2023, you want us to talk about or you want to address, feel free to do so. Um, as I said, we believe in milestones. Um, our third wheel, our third co-host is under the weather. You know what I mean? And Damon, we wish you were here. I hope you feel better, my guy. You know what I'm saying? And speedy recovery to you. But I just wanted to say that. Jaqari, how you doing today? How was your day?
No, I'm good today, man. Day was it was regular, nothing out of the ordinary happened, so everything fell into place, and I was able to catch it.
Fell and it caught that motherfucker,
Mm.
right? Myself, I'm enjoying the holidays, mostly just with having a little bit of peace because
Mm.
that's my pursuit. My pursuit is about peace of mind, peace in existence, peace and quiet, peace of the pie,
Mm.
everything that goes along with peace. I'm with it. Um, let me do a little bit of house clean. The Strong Perspective Podcast. We go live every Friday at 7:30 on Facebook and on our YouTube channel. Even though we enjoy going live on Facebook, we understand that our YouTube channel is the thing that's going to be able, it's the vehicle that's going to be able to reach the most.
Mm.
So if you know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody, ask them to go to the Strong Perspective Podcast channel and go in there and like, subscribe to the videos, and please subscribe. It'll take 30 seconds to do so. Then you can come back. If you don't have time to watch any of the videos and things like that, come back, but subscribe before you go. We'll
Hmm.
definitely appreciate you if you do.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Hey,
Uh,
Key,
yeah, go ahead.
before you move on, man, I like to put out there, man. Like, look, everybody that know us, look, if you stop and give those people on the side of the road money, y'all can like, share, and subscribe our show.
Wow.
I'm, I'm,
I like that angle, my guy.
I'm saying
Yes,
you in your car, you in your car, and you feeling charitable, and you want to
yeah.
give, and you got a couple of dollars in your pocket. God compels you to do it, and you do it.
Yes, sir.
Now, when you're sitting at home on your laptops and your phones, in the bathroom or whatever, and we cross your mind, you ain't wasting no gas and you ain't losing no money. So come on and hop on the train with us.
All right, let me throw my comment in. In between your novels and your beat off material, go to our channel and subscribe for us, please.
Mm, mm, mm. I'm trying to guilt them, and you stepping on their toes. If it's one, if it's one thing that I know that black men will not discuss, it is their personal phone porn choices. Will not discuss it. Ain't none of your
Oh
business.
yeah, and you know what? They're not supposed to either.
Yeah.
You know,
Hey man,
and look,
look. Hey
Yeah,
man, look. My wife ain't got my personal phone code, but I got a couple of partners that do. And if something happened to me, one or two of them is responsible for clearing my search history and shit.
clear it out of there.
Hmm.
Look. My thing is, don't do it to your phone. You know what
No,
I'm saying?
no.
Look, that, that's that's why we got burners.
Mm, yeah.
Hey, look, but as I said in the reminder, this is a year in the review. So if you guys are watching, feel free to throw in your comment if you have anything you want to talk about or just want to just get out there as far as this year, this year, or what you saw and what you went through. Please do. Let's talk
Mm,
about it, man. Because see, like I said, it's not about young or old. This is an adult conversation, and
mm,
and I say that, and this is personal opinion when I say it, is throughout every generation that's being being exposed to social media, right?
mm,
We all get exposed to immaturity, even though there's a lot of really mature, um, noteworthy conversations on social media, right?
mm,
We still get bombarded by the immature of it, whether it's a joke, whether it's gossiping about celebrities, whether it's want to know who the goat and why he ain't a goat because he ties his shoes from left to right instead of right to
mm,
left. You know what I'm
mm.
saying? Um, look at you, Terrence. Now you trying to throw everybody out. We ain't gonna do that, Terrence. We ain't gonna talk about no
Mm.
burners. We can't do it.
Yeah.
But
My wife and the police believe I got one phone.
one phone, that's it. But and like I said, it's my opinion about it is we don't talk about the mature part, the mature conversation enough.
Mm,
We got a lot of entertainment on our phones, our laptops, our desktops. There's a lot of that, right? But you know, mature people, you know, like when it comes to the black community, something that we can afford is the battle of the sex. That's the first thing I want to bring up. This is what I've discovered throughout this whole. It's been for a couple of years, but it's been more prevalent in 2023.
mm,
Is the battle of the sexes between black men and black women.
mm,
How Kevin Samuels came on strong, right? And then a Red Bull and a bad heart, this man passed away.
mm,
You feel what I'm saying? And what concerns me is how many women came on there. And this is now understand this is not every woman, black woman,
mm,
but the ones who just really just wanted to throw it out there talked about how he deserved what he got.
mm,
And understand, folks, that's a small percentage of overall because
mm.
I think as a people, we don't want to see somebody leave this plane prematurely. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm.
We don't want to see that. So I think that was my main concern when it came to I saw and you made and they made sure that they showed these things about what these women were saying about his brother, right?
Mm.
Even though he was voicing his opinion. I mean, even though, which was so funny about it is, the man did it to the year before. He was doing the same thing that he did with these women to men, but it
Mm.
didn't catch fire. It didn't catch fire at all.
I mean, that's the cost of living in a shame based society, man. I mean,
Exactly.
anytime it's perceived that a woman drops the ball, and I'm not trying to step on any toes or anything. It's just off the top of my head. anytime it's perceived that a woman has dropped the ball in regards to her personal life, you know, certain situations and parameters are often taken into consideration, you know, as to what may have caused that situation. But for as far as a man, you know, in regards to relationships and everything, you know, if things aren't going right, you know, it's because of some shortcoming that we have as men, you know, and that's the thing that's talked about. That's the thing that's emphasized. You know, when a lot of the times men and women are dealing with the same issues, you know, just from different perspectives. You know, it's like it's like I call it the looking glass theory. I mean, we're both looking at the same mirror from opposite sides. So everything is you know juxtaposed or whatever you would call it. I mean, the male female dynamic in our community, you know, has always been a polarizing point on a global scale You know, and when you think about it, when I think about it, as far as traditional roles in households go, I don't really hear a lot from other communities who I don't really hear a lot of conversations from other communities about, you know, standing on those traditional households as heavily as I do in the black community. Now I'm quite sure that you know those 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 uh those opinions exist in other communities. Don't get me wrong, but you know the Caucasian community, the Latino community, the Asian community, you know, you'd be hard pressed, or I'd be hard pressed, you know, to find content on the internet that talks about their relationship status as much as ours is talked about. You know what I mean? And that's you know that's probably algorithm stuff, you know, and I don't understand it, but it's a
Well,
discussion.
I think it mostly has to do with the fact that um, we allow ourselves to be put out there like that. My opinion. We allow ourselves to be put out there in the sense that we are easily pitted against one another. The reason why we don't hear it from other communities is because the male dominates the situation, period, in everyone's eyes, right?
Hmm.
And in our community, the man of the house dominates the situation, but is not talked about.
Because the
He's not
techniques
being.
because the
Right?
techniques differ. Because the techniques differ.
I,
You know.
you know what? I'm not sure. I agree with you, Jaquan, but also the simple fact that they choose the easier target because people think that, like, the funniest thing that I always, and you tell me what you think about this. Funniest thing I always saw was when they used to say that we were not good fathers to our children.
Hmm.
That is hilarity to me. It is funny because black men, when they're allowed to be, say if they're with their mom, the children's mom, either two things occur, and the third thing is it happens, right? One, the father is working all the time to provide for the family, so the mom is she might be working, but if the father is the principal breadwinner, right, the mom is holding it down, holding the
Hmm.
situation down, where the kids see her all of the time. You feel me? And
Hmm.
when dad come home, he tired as fuck because he done did double shift. You feel me?
Hmm.
And we see dad on the Saturday, on the weekend. That's when we see. right? Second is he's home and he's able to handle work and he's involved with his children, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the third is headbutting with his wife
Mm-hmm.
or his mom, headbutting constantly, where each one of them trying to take control of it because
Mm-hmm.
somebody has put in planted the seed of dissent. Like I was watching something, it was a comedy about black folks, right? Where there was three girlfriends. One has a man in their life, right? The other two
Mm-hmm.
don't, right? And they in that person, they in the one girl's life, in her head the whole time, talking about how that man ain't shit, or critiquing him on what he should be doing. Yes, this is entertainment. Don't get me wrong, but
Mm-hmm.
the fact that you do have friends like that, like men have friends like that,
Mm-hmm.
where misery loves company.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? But do we
Speak.
ever really see relationships that really and truly are close to what we really are as a people? What do you think, Jaquar?
Hmm. I'd be hard pressed to say, man, because I don't really like pay attention to relationships like or the people that are around me or whatever. But I'll dive in, you know, head
No, no,
first
I'm talking about. I'm sorry.
social media.
I'm talking about just that last question. I'm talking about in entertainment. Have we
Mm-hmm.
seen it? I mean, because everybody
I
else,
mean,
when it comes to personal, everybody got their own rhythm and energy that they flow with. So
mm-hmm.
we can't really. It's not a particular thing we can flow with to say that's the thing that we do. But I'm talking
Yeah.
about in entertainment.
I mean, no relationship that I've seen through entertainment has given me reason to aspire to be like it at all. I mean, shit, everybody's castles are falling, man. I mean, black 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 couples in entertainment are splitting up. It's a toxic time for them. So nah, I don't look for that. Especially from my entertainers, because
Mm-hmm.
if they singing me a song on stage, you know that's who they are. They entertain, and
Yeah,
any picture that they put out, you know, for the media and the world to see, in my mind, is all a part of the package.
no doubt, no
That's
doubt.
generalizing, yeah, but I'm not gonna try to get in touch with the Pope when I got the preacher I can go and talk to. You know what I mean? But
No doubt.
that's just me. But something struck me as funny though, man. Because I've heard you say on countless occasions on this podcast that in interactions between you and your wife, you always wanted to put forward a certain image in the eyes of your son. You never wanted your sons to see, a certain. You didn't want them to look at you a certain way in regards to interactions with their mom or any person, as far as being that authoritative fatherly figure or anything.
Yeah,
And something you said, I can't quite put my finger on it, but you just made a statement, and something flooded into my head because I've had that conversation with my wife. No, the statement you made about bumping heads.
hmm
Yeah, I've had that conversation with my wife in regards to disciplinary situations with our daughter. I'm a stepfather, not a biological father, right? And we bump heads, bump bump heads with each other, over our daughter sometimes, and she said that herself. Well, I can't let my daughter see no man punk me.
You got
And something, for some reason it just struck me that when I heard that, instead of being offended, I should have tried to like open my mind to what she was saying a little more, because I definitely understood it, but at the time I'm like, well, shit, I'm a father. I'm
yeah.
not just some. I'm not just some man. So my opinion counts.
Mm-hmm.
But me, uh, looking through my microscope, from outside of the situation, I see that my my personal shit with how I feel about the situation is not important right now.
Yeah.
Because they were a team before I came along. And even though I was welcomed into that structure, some things were solidified before I was there, and unfortunately, that's just what it was, and I had to accept that.
Yeah. Yeah. Look. Let me just say this. Just to go back to what you're saying. What I always say is, because I know exactly what you're talking about. What I always say is, when it comes to my wife is my partner,
Hmm.
even though I lead my household, right? My household, I lead my household, right? But my wife is my wife here is my life partner, meaning that she and I go through life together, right?
Hmm.
But if Kia feels as though she's trying to, instead of talking to me in private about things, this is what you heard me say, Jaquan. Instead of talking
Hmm.
to me in private, you want to throw base in, and I would not do that in front of our son
Hmm.
if I can help it. You understand? Because our mother and father taught us what a real united front was. We seldom saw them disagree with each other in public. But behind closed doors, what the pops say? Oh, we disagreed all the time,
Hmm.
right? And he said your mama used to give me a earful when it's behind. But my thing was, you will not, because I didn't want my sons to think it was okay to allow somebody to try to belittle you because they're mad.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Belittle you like you their child. You know what I mean? You're not gonna do that in front of my son. I'm sorry. No matter how wrong I am now, because you can tell me how wrong I am in private. You feel me? And I'm gonna say, yeah, you're right. But if you feel like you can throw this base on me in front of them, I don't want them, not because of my ego, and that, no, I don't want them to think that that'll be okay when they have somebody else in their life.
Hmm.
It ain't no right or wrong and difference. I don't care. That's me. That's my personal thing. I don't want them to think that is because our sons and our daughters pay attention to our relationships, how we deal with each other.
Hmm.
So I think the united front is the best thing when it comes to, it's a neutral argument.
Hmm.
Your kids see, well, nobody won and nobody lost. And that's just my humble opinion. Nobody won, nobody lost. And then we go behind a closed door. Baby, I'm sorry. I mean, yeah, I was wrong. But you ain't going to talk to me like that in front of my boys. It's not going to happen.
Hmm.
Because I don't want my boys to allow that to happen to them. I
Hmm.
mean, because it's not about my ego. Because if I'm wrong, I humble myself. Like, if I do my wife wrong, I humble myself. Because that's fucked up. Because that's somebody you love and you do them wrong, then cool, right? But if we got some little petty thing going on, and you want to raise your voice, and you want to throw your chest out, right? I'm not gonna allow no man on the street to do that to me. You my wife. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So of course you're gonna hear my voice be projected higher. And I'm not saying this is the right move. No, not at all. You my brother. You and Damon, my brother. I love y'all. That's what I'm saying. I'm telling you that's why I do it.
Mm-hmm.
Feel me? That's all.
Yeah.
That's all. Look, it's not. I'm gonna tell you the thing about it is, it's the simple fact, the fact that we all selfish people. I mean, at our core, we're selfish. We can't help ourselves. Even if
Shoot.
we give,
Shoot.
even if we give a lot to our wives or our husband, we're
Mm-hmm.
still selfish to. That means that that's what we wanted to do in the first place.
It's human
What do you
nature,
think
man.
about that, Jafar?
That's human nature. I think you're absolutely right, man. I mean, but the growth is in the work it takes to, to surpass that selfishness. Because eventually,
Uh,
man, even though you don't sit horses, even though you bump heads or whatever, eventually, man, you do come to understand and see the the other person's point.
yeah,
You might think it's petty, but when you do some real self analyzation, your shit was probably petty too.
well, it's real. It's real.
So
You know, the majority of times when it comes to couples, I think it is, unless you dealing with a narcissistic person,
mm,
it is 50-50 when it comes to couples.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But even that's a struggle, man. Because I've fallen down that narcissist rabbit hole, man. I mean, for,
Hmm.
I would I would I would be flabbergasted, man, to see somebody who was truly diagnosed as a narcissist, man. Narcissistic traits. Everybody displays narcissistic traits or whatever, man. But for everything that they go through and everything that they wrapped up in to be in one person, like goddamn, that that level of mental illness, man, is unfathomable to me. Damn, I got the fat tongue, man. I'm sorry.
The fat tongue.
Yeah.
KJ sending out a general shout out to the boys. Um,
What's going on with your brother? Happy New Year, Merry Christmas.
Same to you. Hey, Happy New Year's, Merry Christmas to you, brother. KJ Jones, friend of the show, great man, ladies and gentlemen, great man. We've been blessed to know great men and women that we've had on our podcast. I'm bragging a little bit, man. Great men and women on our podcast, Jaquan.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, look,
Absolutely.
a lot of people can't say that. And I'm not talking about with KJ. He is materially great man, but his personality, who he is,
Mm-hmm.
matches his accomplishments, right? So
Mm-hmm.
every man or woman that we had on here, great personality matches their accomplishments. And man, this is why this podcast is enjoyable
Mm-hmm.
to me. It really is, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you about that because it's enjoyable because we run into people who bless us with their personality and the type of people that they are. You know what I'm saying? And it's a beautiful thing. Um, my next thing is, and you kind of alluded to it, these celebrities, man. And bear with me with this. We've seen a lot of our so-called A-list celebrities be found out as being as being some of every fucking thing.
Regular people.
Regular people who got carnivorous taste, predators in nature, is what we're hearing. All these different things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my question to you is, whatever you think is going on, Why is it that we see so much right now? What's your opinion about that, Jaquan?
Accessibility, man. I mean, you could be in a situation where you standing on your front porch, man, and you're on somebody's camera.
Okay,
Anyone who doesn't have a reasonable expectation that as soon as they step outside their front door, they're on somebody else's camera is a fool.
okay.
You think about the number of people who have their fucking living rooms and bedrooms surveilled and shit. I know people who got cameras in every room, but even though they're them and their family are the only people who live there, they got cameras in every room, and they done cleared out of space in the doggone mud room to put their monitors so they could sit down and surveil their family. I'm like, what the fuck?
Get
Get
all
you
get all the butthole angles. But go ahead.
Yeah, get your game night, motherfucker. That I mean, damn.
Okay, okay. This is let me uh, clarify my question and really get into it. We see. Let me give you the names and then I'll give you the energy of my question.
Hmm.
Uh, Sean Combs, T.D. Jakes, Will Smith, Jada Pinkett. You understand the energy of it. I mean, this is
Hmm.
what I'm talking about. Like, what is it a design that we see these people's weaknesses or taste being exposed to the public?
Hmm.
And that's all we see in the news and on our timelines now.
Hmm.
Is there a conspiratorial reason why this is happening?
I don't know about a conspiratorial reason, man, but shit, it might be a biblical reason. I mean, uh, success does not put you above reproach.
Okay.
So
Then why now, though?
right now,
Just to reinforce my question, why now? Because we've been hearing about Sean Combs. We've been hearing about Will Smith. And look, I'm not trying to dominate this thing and on some gossip shit. I'm talking about my energy when it comes to when we should be worried about our overall community. But this is all we see. And
hmm
this, what we see, moves our communities.
hmm
Tyler Perry, too. You know what I'm saying? All, I mean, think about it. I just named how many billionaires? How many
a
people that
whole
we know?
bunch. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
but what happened?
That
What
we,
happened? What happened? What happened when Delilah cut Samson's hair?
oh, okay. I like
You
that.
know, you
I
know what I
like that.
mean. I mean, you got to
Yes,
look
sir.
at how you got to look at how society views black men and women. It's always aggressive. It's no matter how affable and personable the person may be, there's always the stigma of physical power.
Yeah.
With black men, with black women, though they're aggressive, they're this and they're that. And they're hard to work with and all that, right? Some of those traits, in regards to the people in our community, have definitely attributed to their success.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you want to send the world a message, if I was thinking along the lines of a conspiracy, if somebody wanted to send the world a message, then who do you attack? You would attack an African American who, by all rights, should have been wiped off the face of the fucking earth. By this point.
Okay.
I mean, we've gone through slavery and all of its fucking backlash and everything. Fucking Planned Parenthood, gentrification, all these programs, all these government sanctioned programs and situations that were designed to affect our numbers in some way, but they really haven't. So
Okay.
what do you do? you start to tear down those images of power that the world is constructing for us.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
my opinion. That's my opinion.
You know, my take on it is similar to yours, Decoy. I think my take on it is what I want to contribute to it is the fact that in the latter years of my life, in the last 15 years, we have forgotten, and it's my own personal opinion, we have forgotten what got us to what we see now, what gotten us to billionaires, right? That what we knew what we knew entertainers were.
Mm-hmm.
Entertainers. Entertainers were if okay, say like when it came to Harry Belafonte,
Mm-hmm.
he was an entertainer, but I would say he was more. I looked at him more as an activist. Even though he was
Yeah.
a singer, he was in movies, he was an activist.
Mm-hmm.
He was about change. I looked at Dick Gregory, very funny man, but what did he turn into? He turned into an activist, social activist, someone who had truth, right? Before and can I be honest with you? Before we started thinking he was a crackpot. But
Mm-hmm.
see, that's what was thrown at us that he was. You see what I'm saying? But this man really and truly dedicated his whole life for our community struggle, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then you remember when Eddie Murphy came under fire by Jim Brown, or he don't do enough for the black community, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, Jim, you only dealing with gangs, man. What did you doing for the black community?
Mm-hmm.
You see, the thing about it is, if you're educated, the more you're educated, the more you understand, and you can throw away bullet points that people throw out there, right? Taking that example, Eddie Murphy has never been nothing but an entertainer,
Mm-hmm.
but we hang on every word, right? Michael Jordan, nothing but an entertainer, right? But we hang on every word. So if Michael Jordan, when he was a young boy, said, you know, Black Power and all this shit, right? Where would we be right now? Because we only paid attention to the fact that he's selling retro Jordans every fucking year,
Mm-hmm.
retreads, and there's
At the
lines out the door and killing each other for that shit.
yeah, at
Not
the
Jordan's
same
fault.
price. Right.
Not Jordan's fault.
Right. Absolutely right.
I blame the people standing out there. But it's not Jordan's fault that he could do that. He can retread shit. You know what I'm saying? Change it up a little bit. But we rely too much on what? Our entertainers.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
our entertainers could be super, super intelligent and could be pro-black radicals and all of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about it is, and I want your opinion about this, the thing about it is, why does it why does what they can do on the court, the football field, or whatever, in look, the silver screen, everything, why does that outweigh a social activist that's out here in the trenches that cares about the violence in the community or poverty, or why does that outweigh it? What do
Well,
you
I
think?
mean, it all boils down to access, man. I mean, if an activist is in the community making moves, his audience is his community. But when you get on the court, hell, your community appreciates you. Uh, communities outside a community appreciates you for just that one thing.
Okay. Okay.
You know,
So you
and
saying no, go ahead. Go ahead, Jaquan.
no, I was gonna say my question is to you is this, man. And I hope I hope I gave you a sufficient answer. But in regards to equality and us as a community pushing ourselves forward and everything, what did anybody think the end result was going to be as far as the people we put it, the people we put out as the face of our community, as far as entertainments and entertainers and athletes and such? What do people think the end result to all of our struggles for equality was going to be in regards to them? They have, Kanye West is he's the pinnacle of equality. He's a black man who was worth billions, and in a lot of people's opinions, he lost those billions on his own. That's the fucking
He did.
American dream. That's the
He
American
did.
dream.
Yeah.
And we as a black community, man, want equality to live, the same lives as some of our counterpoints, but we got to understand that bullshit comes with those same lives too. And if we're gonna have equality, there's certain shit that we got to deal with. It wouldn't bother me. It wouldn't bother me at all to sit through a white comedian set where he talked about black people the way black comedians talk about white people on stage. That wouldn't bother me.
You know what? Honestly, I don't like that humor. Period. I don't like black people. If you're funny, you're funny.
Yeah.
That's all I
How,
have to say.
but how many comedians?
If you're funny,
How many black comedians do you know who will lean on that shit though?
but
White
but
people
the
this, white people that, white people
but
this,
but
white people
but
that,
here's the thing
and
though.
then
Here's the thing. But
and then have no expectation to have a motherfucking
hold on. Let's be
uh
fair.
come on,
Let's
man.
be fair. No, no. Listen, listen.
I'm
Let
trying
me
to be.
say this. Okay, let me say this. You have to say this, man. Of course, you got stand up comedians saying it, but that was in response. That was fighting back. We had years of early TV and early movies of white people putting what they think black people are on TV, where the world can see, in which you can go back on, right? In the movies about their interpretation of black people, in which they still do it.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
when it comes to a black man or a black woman standing up and making fun of the little shit about white people, it ain't really making fun of them motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? And I'm being honest about it. It's not really making fun of them. It's just it's the simple fact that we got to find humor in our pain, right?
I get it. I get it.
I
But
don't
it's
like
but
it when black comedians talk about black people. I just don't
but
like
I get
my
it.
own.
I get it. But is that the healthiest response? If you're in the schoolyard and little Billy punches little Tommy and little Tommy hits him back, is that true justice?
If little Billy don't hit little Tommy no more, yes, that's just.
Hmm. Okay. So what if little Tommy continues to hit little Billy?
And little Billy continues to fight back. That's the normal human response to me, bro. Because what do you have to do? You have to protect who you are. You have to protect your sanity. I think you have to protect who you think you are. Because if if little Billy continues to do it, guess what he's going to do? If he don't get any response from what he's doing to that little child, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is he going to do? It's going to escalate. But if it's some reciprocation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now it's some thought put into it. Should I do this? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if that's the case, man. I don't know if that's the case, and I might explain. I may have explained my example wrong. But my overall point is, we've dealt with stereotypes and vitriol for the duration. I get that, and quite naturally, as you just said, the human response would be to, once we've gained a certain position, to start giving that stress and vitriol back. But how long do we do that before shit really changes for us? Does nothing to address what we're going on,
Well,
what's going
let,
on
let
with
me
us.
let me respond to that because see, I understand exactly what you're talking about, right? But if there is a response, isn't that also a change of attitude of self when you're responding? Because if you don't respond, it'll beat you down, and when you continue to get it, it's going to beat you down, and you're not going to think a lot about who you are as a person, as a human being. But if you resist, if you go back, it is an evolution where you can make the decision to stop because you respond.
Understood. Understood.
So you cannot make the decision, or you don't have control over it if you do not respond to what this person is doing to you. That person still got that person still got power over you because you know what they're doing. You know what? I'm so tired of this. Oh no, I gotta. My conscience is overwhelming. Let me stop. Let me pity him or her.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But if you're getting it back, right? Then this is not a right or wrong thing. I'm just saying, if you're getting back equally or more heavy-handed your way or whatever, now all of a sudden it's even playing, and the person who was getting it at first, they're making the decision. You know what? I retaliated enough. I'm tired of this shit. Now I'm like, yo, and I'm being graphic when I say that. Yo, I just fucked you up after what you did to me. You came at me in a rough way. I fucked you up again. We fucking each other up. Let's find something. Let's find a middle ground.
Nobody's made that attempt though.
No. My point is just speaking on your topic more than anything.
Mm.
The fact that you have more control over it. You have more control over what you do because you responded in a way to let that person know that you ain't gonna take that shit. You're a threat.
But in this situation, Keith, the issue doesn't lie in the vehicle, bro. The issue lies with the driver. My point is,
My point. How you gonna be?
My point is, first of all, I never said or never implied that I wanted black people not to respond or stop doing what they're doing. I never said that.
How
You
you
made
make that?
points. No,
No,
wait. You made points, and I said, yeah, I agree. That's human nature. My thing is this: the more power we gain in this country and in the world as an African American community, the more and more we take on the traits of the master.
I mean because it's power. Of course, of course.
So,
See, you think
okay,
you thought I was disagreeing with you. I'm saying to you is this: the fact that a response to that helps you to sip on what power means when you respond in the same way. You see what I'm saying? It's not. I don't think, man, and this is no judgment towards anything, but the simple fact that I would love the fact that if I make a decision about something, I have control over that decision. You see what I'm saying? And
mm-hmm.
I'm working with it. Ain't no right or wrong because human nature is human nature, man. But I don't want a motherfucker who's been brutalizing me. Just an example, who's been brutalizing me. Then one day just have a change of heart without me ever responding to it and say, "Hey, I'ma quit fucking with you. Here's my sympathy." How is that gonna change anything in my community? I'm talking about. You see what I'm saying? It's a thought more than or opinion. And an opinion, it's a thought. Like, yo, wait a minute. All right, perfect example. Civil rights. Lyndon Johnson. He created civil rights for his own legacy. He didn't believe in it. He just created it so everybody could talk about Lyndon Johnson, right?
Mm.
But what it did was civil rights. I thought it was a major step when it came to our community, right? But what is civil rights? Is it human rights, folks? And I'm not talking about semantics. I'm not trying to play no games or nothing like that. But really and truly, civil rights, why didn't they say human rights? Why isn't it not a human rights bill? And this is not trying to be controversial. Man, we went through the same education. We know what civil rights is. Okay, I can sue you. That's civil rights, right? But what do I want? I want human rights or I want civil rights? I'll grab on the human rights every day. You know why? Because it grabs on you as a human and your civil rights. That's automatic. That's all. It was a compromise, bro. It was a compromise that white America could swallow. And you want to know why they didn't put human rights on it, in my opinion? Is because they didn't want none of their people to feel guilty about what was going on with black folks in this country. Because it always has to do with how guilty you feel when you're in power, and you don't have a threat. That's just my opinion. You know what I mean? And that's the thing, man. That's why I brought it up earlier, just to tie it in when it comes to all our icons of all of a sudden become sexual predators.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? Why are we getting that all of a sudden? You feel me? Why are we getting that all of a sudden, dog?
I mean,
and that's my original question. Is like, man, people that we look up to, especially in the social media, I'm talking about, look up to in the social media realm.
Mm-hmm.
Why all of a sudden somebody is coming out with a lawsuit accusing, oh man, oh he did this, she did this. You feel what I'm saying? What? Why is it flooding? Why is it flooding our eyesight now?
Well, that's a good question, man. I mean, a lot of it, you know, and as bad of as much of a villain as COVID has been over the last 3 years, I mean, you think about how much your screen time has increased over the last two.
That's true.
You know,
So you think that plays a part? The fact that I'm watching more, just go ahead.
It plays a part into why I might have an opinion on something like that. You know,
I see what you said. Makes sense. I think I don't know, man. I wish it was possible to sort through all this madness, man. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I would want to sort through all this madness is because it's not selfish. Because I got children, I got grandchildren, I got great grandchildren, I got great grandchildren. that I want to see peaceful and happy.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
But even that has a double-edged sword, man. Even that is a double-edged sword. I mean, because if from an economic point of view, man, you think about how many black social media influencers, man, are doing pretty well because of it.
I know, but
Despite the poison that's being poured into it.
mm, ah, all right.
Hell, we try. Hell, we try. We trying to feed into it.
Are we trying to feed into it, or are we just having conversations?
It's the
Because
machine, man.
we could easily, come on, dog. We could have
It's
easily
it's
been because
it's
we're
the
the
machine.
three of us.
It's
The
the
three of us.
machine, man.
Yeah, I know that. I get that. And it's not that we did it on purpose. This is our comfort zone, us having conversation
Hmm.
and really just giving how we feel, right? But the three of us are so intelligent that we can get up there and push an agenda. You understand what I'm saying?
Hmm.
That's easy to do. That is easy to do. You know, I think we could do it in such a way that our agenda would make us money, right?
Hmm.
For how long? I know how long it would take for me to be like, yo, man, I don't feel like fucking with this today. But by that time, my money is involved in it. And I
Hmm.
gotta fuck with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But the things that we do now, our sense of humor, our introspective view of things, and everything that we do now is us.
Hmm.
So it's easy to do.
But see that sort of answers your own question, doesn't it? Because everybody you mentioned and asked about it, in the beginning, they 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 all reached a measure of success, through sweat equity, through the sweat of their brow,
That's real.
and their success is theirs, and
Hmm.
they just so happen to, choose particular moments to fucking squander it. That's the bottom line. And quite honestly, Keith, shit, I want to be a movie star, man. Quite honestly, if I was to gain a measure of success, man, I'd be an asshole. I'd
I
be an
mean,
asshole, man. I mean, I would.
look, you've been my brother for 51 years, so I know you could be an asshole, right? But you would be a asshole by agenda more than anything. You wouldn't be an
No,
asshole
I
because
mean,
no, no. Let me put it like this: you wouldn't be an asshole because you drunk off of it. You know what I'm saying?
wouldn't I?
Look,
I mean, what's worse
no,
than an
no, no.
asshole? What's worse than an asshole with success? I can't think of nothing.
Okay, let me ask you a question. The old adage: if you're dumb, what are you if you're dumb in the beginning, but then you hit the lottery for $500 million? What are you then?
Rich and dumb.
Dumb with a $500 million, right?
Hmm.
So my point is, you don't start off being an asshole. I'm
Hmm.
talking about you personally. Now, in general,
Oh.
of course, it's just how it is. But you, by nature, are not an asshole. But when your and this is my opinion, being your brother, when your comfortable ability, I'm making a word, comfortable ability is in jeopardy, the assholedom appears.
Not at all, sir. It might be the reverse. It might be the reverse.
I don't know. I don't know. That's just my opinion. But you know you might differ, but that's just my opinion. You know what I mean?
a lot of
Now,
times, man,
hey,
especially.
I can't read your mind. Now you might be an asshole 24/7, but it don't show.
Nah, well, yeah, I'm an actor, man. So yeah, hey, but that me knowing me, and
Yeah.
when I get a little bit of money in my pocket, the way I act, if my resources was to multiply,
Hmm.
and I could find access to the things I want through less questionable measures, because
Mm.
I got the money,
Yeah.
then I'm probably gonna hop on it.
I mean, I get it. I get it. And that's the thing about it. I've never surprised myself. Look, I just use this word never, right?
Mm.
But the thing about it is, I've always hesitated when I use that word because you don't know what you'll do depending on your situation.
Until you
You feel
there,
what I'm
yeah.
saying? 'Cause
Mm.
you just don't know. You don't know, bro. And that's what's so crazy about it is I've been on this earth for 59 years. Just to segue into the next subject, I've been on this earth for 59 years, right? I'm the last year. I said this 2 episodes ago. I am the last year of the baby boomer,
Mm.
right? But the thing about it is, Generation X, which is you and your brother Damon, and the last year of baby boomers, we have touched everything all the way up until now. We've seen the 70s, we've seen the late 60s, right? We've seen all the 70s, we've seen all the 80s, all the 90s, and we're 23 years in the 2000s. We see it all, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing I worry about, even though I got the most confidence in both my sons that I planted enough seeds with them, I worry about the fact that common sense is is becoming obsolete. What do you think about that?
What's the need for it when you can basically Google what you want and get a half-ass decent answer?
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
know you know through the example you just made of how you guys have lived, through the '60s, to the present and seen everything. How much have you actually benefited from it? Not much.
Yeah, good point.
Not not much. But our children, man, are in a position to truly benefit and stand on the shoulders of the people who came before them.
Yeah,
It's
man,
not
that's because of us, right?
Yeah, it's not necessarily their fault that they're not prepared to do so.
I think they're prepared. I think that you know what I think? We created too many shortcuts for them. Inadvertently, now I'm talking about.
Well, I mean
Because,
that's everybody's dream as a potential parent, man, is to make shit easier for their kids.
ah, yeah, but really, was it really that? Unless you had riches for your child, right? Of
Mm,
course, you want to give them a little cheat sheet, right? But you still want them to put in the work so they can keep what they work for.
hmm
You see what
But
I'm
but
saying?
but but how much of that is explained when we're giving at the time?
And that's the key to it because it's funny when I hear guys and guys and women say, "Oh, these kids nowadays and they don't listen," blah blah blah. And I'll ask, and I've heard other people ask, "Well, whose fault is that?
Yeah.
You raised these motherfuckers." No.
You know what I ask her? When you were a child, how many items that cost how many items did you receive from your parents that cost over $150 consistently? How many? Not many.
Very few.
Very few.
Very few.
And I'm talking to the people who half-ass had something. You didn't get it. You didn't get a lot of high price items and shit when you was a kid. But nowadays, that's just what it is. Everything costs, you
Yeah.
know. And as I said before, man, when we provide these things for our children with no explanation as to what our expectations of them are, that what direction are they supposed to go in? Of course, when we give them everything with no expectation of earning it, they're gonna be massaged in a position to believing that they deserve every fucking thing with no work. That's just what it is. And from my point of view, it might be a simple explanation, man, but it's all I got.
So let me ask you a question. Why do you think that? How did we? How did it break down where we provided for our kids because we didn't have anything, right?
Hmm.
To the point where they thought that it belonged to them. It was their God-given right to receive those gifts. Where was the breakdown
I don't know, man, but I was always told if you don't work, you don't eat. If you look at the Pride of Lions, man, how young are the cubs when the mama started teaching them to hunt? Success for them is turned into a fucking game. A
at?
lot of time,
Did you ever hear yourself say, "If you don't work, you don't eat" to your child?
yeah, yeah, yes, sir, yes, sir. As I was
Hmm.
saying though, a lot of times, man, I'm watching the Discovery Channel. I've seen several examples of a lioness teaching her cubs to hunt, and what she'll do is go and find she'll hunt a smaller animal and wound it in a way, and then let the cubs come in and you know finish it off. That's the setup. They're going to receive the prize at the end of a full belly, and even though they didn't have to put in the full amount of work to work to get it, they understand the work that has to go into acquiring that meal.
I get you. I get you.
And I think that's where all communities have dropped the ball. You know, you have a conversation about a person. You have a conversation with a person about inheritance. How many black people do you know? Wait. How many black people do you know have set up, situations for after they pass on to where they can leave something to their children? That's gone from our conversation, as far as I know. Very few people, very few people have created that kind of lineage. For the most part, we're all dependent on our life insurance to take care of our families after we're gone.
I mean,
That
but
was
don't that
that that
too?
that wasn't the case with our parents though.
But I mean, that's the thing about it is that counts towards that too. Now, okay, that's a good point, Jaquan. So let's just go into that a little more. Do you think, in your opinion, if you can't pass something to your child, a house, money, something, an inheritance,
Hmm.
that you failed as a parent? And the reason
No,
why no, let me say, the reason why I ask it is drummed into our head that we got to leave our kids a legacy. Yes,
hmm
I think that is a smart thing to do.
thank you.
But is it a is it a failure? Is it perceived to be a failure if you don't?
Hmm. I never looked at it in those terms before
Uh
because
huh.
I'm like
Excuse me, folks, but go ahead.
I'm like as long as they got something coming from me, then I
Okay.
believe as a parent that I've done my job. But as I was saying, man, our parents didn't necessarily rely on the fact that they was going to have life insurance to cover them after cover their families after they were gone.
Okay.
You know, that's what I heard. I heard, as a man, you need to build your legacy independently.
Okay.
So you could have the resources that you gained over your lifetime to hand out, you know, independently, and wouldn't have to rely on, a system to ensure your lineage.
See, okay. I think what I get stuck on, and I think as many layers to lineage is why I get stuck. And what is the most important thing is, right? One layer is raising your child to be healthy, to understand what it means to have a roof over your head, have a meal, and all these things, right? And to see you go out to work every day. You and your wife go out to work every day to make sure that they have that, right?
Hmm.
Then another layer is teaching your child, along with, providing the roof and everything, teaching your child how to fish, right? How to
Hmm.
fish, meaning giving them the foundation of work, a work ethic,
Hmm.
being dependable to the job, being dependable to themselves, right?
Hmm.
And also giving them your permission to dream. Like if you're artistic, if you're business minded, to get your own, right? And then the
Hmm.
next layer is leaving them a home, leaving them land, leaving them money, right?
Hmm.
And I think that out of the three things that I named, in my personal opinion, the most personable thing, maybe because our parents weren't rich as we were, throughout our life, weren't rich, right? But the most important thing to me has always been my interaction and what our parents taught us.
Hmm. But that's lineage, though, man. All those things that you talked about encompass lineage, man. I mean, because once you taught all the lessons in regards to, how to support yourself and your family and all that, and if you are blessed enough to leave land, money, or in a house or whatever, what's the most important lesson? Because
I got
the land, the money, in the house, over time will evaporate. But the lesson, if it's taught right, it's like it ain't gonna go nowhere.
got you.
And a
I
lot of
feel
people, a lot of my peers, I've heard a lot of them say that they didn't plan on leaving their kids anything.
I mean, but you making the decision not to do that, and
Yeah,
I can't.
yeah, but it's
I
fucked up though.
truthfully, I know that, and I truthfully could not make that kind of. What the fuck is that? that was my question. Like, what? Why? Not because you made that decision. Well, why? What brought you to that? You feel what I'm saying? Like, come
Yeah,
on, I don't get it. Now, if you
but
don't have anything to leave them, I get that. But I'm like, why are you making that decision? You know what I'm saying?
the closest thing I can come to, man, is because people be like, well, fuck, I don't want to struggle my whole goddamn life and then leave, hundreds of $1,000s to my kids to enjoy. I want to enjoy that shit myself. Is that reasonable? Absolutely.
It's reasonable.
Absolutely reasonable. But if you walk your dog, you're responsible for cleaning up his shit if it go right.
Yeah,
It's all
yeah.
about your footprint, man.
It's about it. It's about
It's
that
all it's all
footprint.
about your footprint.
Okay, okay. As I said earlier in this episode, the beginning of this episode, this is 2023 in review. We touched on personal things, just in case you're coming in late. We touched on personal things, on our personal view of life and just how we see it. And I want to get into this just to lighten it up a little bit. Um, the quarry.
Hmm.
what did you, when you was a youngin, what did you want to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And did you come close?
Well, I
We'll just
wanted to.
start.
Yeah, well, I wanted to be a millionaire cowboy stripper. So no, I didn't. But
A millionaire cowboy stripper?
yeah,
Wow.
I
Okay.
mean, and I have specific reasons. I mean, a millionaire. Obvious because
Obvious. Yeah.
access to money.
Yeah.
Cowboy because shit, that's just how I was raised. I'm a country boy. Grew up in Ypsilanti, Michigan, and a lot of people don't consider Ypsi to be, you know, country. It's not rural, but it's country. So I'm a country boy at heart,
Whole
and
bunch of Mississippi, Alabama folks in there. Go ahead.
yeah, yeah. And a stripper because I thought it'd be easy for me to get women, but I've been told. I've been told that well, no, I know. Yeah, but that was unrealistic for me. So yeah, I mean, but that that was pretty much the gist, man. I thought that my adult life is gonna be filled with money and adventure and shit, and I was gonna leave behind sage words for the upcoming future Armstrongs and shit, and I was gonna die with my goddamn boots on. I could still do
Gotcha.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. My response to that question is what I wanted to be was happy. I know that's an easy thing to say, but our young lives, especially me being the oldest, was always filled with turmoil and turmoil and uncertainty.
Yeah.
Meaning, we was always in transition.
Just like now. Mm. Well, Facebook, it look like it's just you and me, and I'm gonna do something I've always wanted to do. So, one, two, three. Smile, though your heart is breaking. Keith, where are you, brother?
Hey, listen,
Huh?
I apologize for that because let me tell you something. That was our parents, Shaquar. Like,
Yeah.
if you don't stop that bullshit, right?
Yeah. Yeah. When you went
but
off, my face was cool because I'm looking at it, but I was like, "Oh shit!" I
no,
started saying,
I punched, I mashed the wrong button. But my point is,
"Well, don't touch nothing.
don't
Just,
touch
just,
nothing.
just sit there."
And my point is this: being the oldest and and our parents, who I respected more than anything, put a lot of responsibility on me being there for you and Dan. You know what I mean? And I took it on, so it wasn't a burden, to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what it did to me was make me a worrier. I worried a lot,
Yeah, I
and
did
I
too.
still do to this damn day.
I did too.
You know what I mean? But I got great at doing what? Covering all bases. See, that's what I got great at. Because what it did was, it that's why I said happy.
Mm-hmm.
Because what it did was, when I got better at it and became good at it,
Mm-hmm.
I became a great problem solver. And what it did was it went into my life. Everything in my life, I was a great basketball player because I was a problem solver. I learned from my mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Football player, the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Um, Father, covering all bases.
Mm-hmm.
Husband, when my selfishness don't get in the way. You feel what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
it was funny. Happiness was always my goal. Of course, I wanted to be great at what I did and become a whatever, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But that's always been my goal, man.
Happiness, man, has always been a tricky place for me, man, because I was never consciously put into a position where I sat down and said, "Spoke, huh? Are you happy?"
Mm.
Never asked myself that question. That's honest. I've never asked myself that question, man, because as far back as I can remember, I always was, and
I get,
my happiness was never affected until I chose to pay attention to someone else pointing out my deficiencies.
so is happiness and ignorance, do they go hand in hand?
Ain't it bliss?
Ignorance is bliss, no doubt. So I say that to say, I asked that question to say that I was always aware. So I was never ignorant about what's going on.
Hmm.
And when I was a youngin, if young folks develop ulcers,
Mm.
I would have had the biggest ulcer in the world, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
what happens is you don't develop the ulcer, you develop only the anxiety that goes with the ulcer.
hmm,
You know, that's the thing about it is I've always dealt with anxiety, and as I gotten older, right now I'm better because I understand what anxiety is.
yeah, yeah,
You know, not believing that it's gonna work out. So I had to tell myself one day, Jaquan, this shit is working out, so I
hmm,
can throw this anxiety away.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But even if you do that, even if you sit down and have that conversation with yourself and you say, Keith, this shit is working out, man. How do you address it when you see that it's working out and it's really not taking the picture that you thought you had in your head? How do you address that?
You know what? To answer your question, I've understood no matter what, negative and positive, we always exaggerate the outcome of the negative shit and the positive shit. We exaggerate it, our
Yeah,
expectations.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So how many times have you like, damn, this negative thing coming down the pipe, right?
Hmm.
And you like, fuck, and it messes with you. Then next thing you know, it comes, and next thing you know, you realize what you could have prevented. Now that's
Hmm.
taking anxiety off. Then you realize how you can live through it. That's the anxiety. And then you realize, well, I can decrease the impact to at least a quarter of what I thought it was going to be just because my mind sees it with what it is. It's
Hmm.
life. It's a life cycle. You know what I mean?
It's human nature to avoid pain and conflict, man.
Yep.
And once you get it into your mind that you're not going to avoid nothing, I
Mm,
think that's
I like that.
that that's the path to happiness right there. I'm a big
I like
component, man. I'm a big component of enjoying the ups and learning from the downs. You know what I mean?
that. Yep.
You know, and it all goes back to my my tried and true, man. Shit. I only had 3 pairs of jeans in high school, man. But I never missed. I
Yep.
never missed. I knew somebody was gonna point that shit out, but
Yeah.
I showed the fuck up.
Yep. You showed up because you knew. I mean, I can relate to that. You showed up because you knew you was coming. You had to come back the next day.
I got to come back to this motherfucker.
I got to come back to this bitch. You
Yeah.
know what
No,
I'm saying?
I'm not gonna let an incubus or succubus or
Yep.
motherfucking emotional vampire drain me of my motherfucking who I am. I'm not gonna do it. Not every day.
And as you get older, you see that those people who point those things out, no matter what they got or what they don't got, they're more miserable than you.
Yeah. And also they also peaked in high school. So hey, you know what I mean? We need to do a show about that. You motherfuckers peaked. That was the best time of your motherfucking life. And you just
you remember, you remember, you remember, you remember. They on that
yeah,
shit.
yeah, yeah. And you know, I'm all about the nostalgia. You know what I mean? But you know, as I stated before, man, you know, shit. Your good times. Well, if I was there, your good times wasn't always so good for me.
That's real. That's real. That's real. Okay, well, as I said, this is the 2023 in review, last show of the year, and last question of the day, Jaquar.
Hmm.
What is your expectation of Strong Perspective Podcast?
Well, coming up, man, my expectation, man, is to continue to solidify my presence on this here internet and possibly create or attempt to create a venture that would properly. Uh, uh, hey, man, I want to get better at this shit. I want to get better at being me, man. You know, I want to get back to some of the old things that made Spoke who he is. You know
No
what I
doubt.
mean? Because during those you remember when conversations, you know, and if I should happen to come up as a topic, you know, I don't see the guy that a lot of people were drawn to back then. Not anymore.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
And you know that it's affected me. It's definitely affected me. You know, so I don't necessarily want to be different, but I want to repolish my tools, man,
Okay.
and use the motherfuckers again. You know.
No doubt.
How about yourself, brother?
I think my goal, if I remember the question I just asked you and shit, my goal for us is to continue to understand that we're here for a purpose. We're here because we were put in this position. See, I don't think we I don't think it's some spiritual journey we're going on or anything like that. I understand that this is a podcast of conversation, and I want us to continue to do so. But I want you guys to understand out here when you see this, when you if you're watching it now or you see it later, pay attention to this. Eventually, you're gonna see Strong Perspective Podcast moving serious numbers. You're gonna start to see viral moments in past episodes in this podcast that you have not had the patience to see. The many great men and women that's been on this podcast, right? Because it ain't no excuse that I'm busy on Friday. Oh, we have a channel. I tell you all the time. Our channel is on YouTube. I tell you the name of our channel. Don't be that person that say, "Oh, yeah, I used to follow them all the time, and I used to watch it all the time," and you're not. Don't be that person. Don't be that. Either you're gonna watch it or you're not gonna watch. You know what I mean? As me and Jaquari and Damon always say, what you eat don't make me shit. But understand something about what we are doing. We do it. We talk to young. We talk to the old. We talk to the in-betweens. We talk to everyone about conversations of life. I want people to understand that, and I want people to know that. Period.
Mm-hmm.
That's me. Uh, Corey, I want to thank you and Damon for this ride, brother. I suggested this, that the three of us do this because I get to see y'all every week. Most people don't understand that the three of us, are close knit. All three of us have different personalities, but we are the same people. Our personality is different because it's different degrees, but we think along the same way.
Hmm.
Because what we are, we're about manhood. We're about fatherhood. We're about being husband, being boyfriend, if we was all single. But we all married. But the point I'm trying to make to you is we believe in living our life to the fullest. And the crazy thing about it is we embrace our flaws because we know there are flaws. We don't ignore them. And I'm going to give you quite the last words before we end this 2023 broadcast. I'm just going to simply say this. Hop on this joint, man, because we're going to take you on an even more hectic and wonderful ride. Ja'Quari, take us on home, brother.
Well, I'd like to begin by thanking you, our brother Damon, our audience, and social media for giving me an opportunity to express myself, man, in unfiltered manner. Because even though I might try to string together words to sound pretty or whatever, what I'm giving here is my unfiltered opinion on things or whatever. I don't do a lot of research. I don't do any research, and that was one of the things that I was really taking a hard stand on when we first began this venture. I'm not a research person. I'm not gonna be on here spouting facts about politics or religion or anything like that. Not that that's not a good thing, and I will be a part of those conversations, or I would be a part of those conversations. But I'm about expressing how I feel about things when I hear them from people, and engaging in those conversations. You know, that being said, 2023 has been a very good year for me and mine, and I pray that God blesses us to keep growing in whatever situation we find ourselves in that's positive. Uh, I look forward to 2024. I don't know what it may bring. Nobody does know what it may bring. I just believe it's going to be a prosperous situation. And on the side note, I invented a new word today. Uh, the word is fuck tussle.
You want to give them the
And
definition?
the definition of fuck tussle is a situation that is just bad. Uh, you know, you get into a car accident. That's a fuck tussle. You come home from work and the whole goddamn house is just torn up because the kids is running to and fro and back and forth. That's a fuck tussle. Uh, working into the what they call it, goddamn the etymology. Let's do
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Fuck tussle. And any T-shirts or bumper stickers made, I want a part of because that's my word. If you heard it before, tell me. If you heard it before, I don't believe you. Come come on and let's talk about it. But
No doubt.
2024 is gonna be heavy, man. It's gonna be heavy.
We're getting ready to do even bigger and better things in 2024. Damon, I hope you feel better, brother. Now, God bless you. Love you, man. All the
Love,
guests that we
love you,
had
brother.
on during this year, I thank y'all. I thank y'all. You're great men and women. We appreciate y'all. All you did was you add quality and joy into our situation. Thank you.
Thank you very
Any
much.
last words required?
I bid you peace and prosperity for the new year, world.
Peace and prosperity. This is Strong Perspective Podcast. Make sure you go to the YouTube channel by the same name. Like, share, and subscribe. Share with other people. Take that 30 seconds to go on there and just and hit the subscribe button because what our goal is, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. Our goal is to get into that algorithm where we reach more people so they can understand where we're coming from. Because honestly, our goal is to promote conversation and healing and evolution. This is Strong Perspective Podcast. Peace be with you.